The terrible case of Jeffrey Epstein and the more recent one with the Dalai Lama make us question what is happening to the world. These are terrible things that happen right in front of us that make us certain that the end is near, and that's what we're going to talk about in this video. The world is currently experiencing a surge in political instability, social discord, and natural disasters. In some regions, political turmoil has led to the rise of authoritarian governments, which suppress dissent and limit basic freedoms. At the same time, social unrest is increasingly common, with protests and demonstrations becoming more frequent and more intense in many parts of the world. Natural disasters are also on the rise, with climate change exacerbating the severity and frequency of events such as hurricanes, floods, and wildfires. Unfortunately, the chaos in the world is not just limited to political and environmental issues. Recent events like the Jeffrey Epstein case have highlighted the darker side of human behavior, particularly when it comes to the abuse and exploitation of vulnerable individuals. Epstein's case was particularly egregious, as he was a convicted sex offender who allegedly ran a vast trafficking operation that preyed on underage girls. What's even more disturbing is that he reportedly had help from some of the most powerful people in the world, including politicians, business leaders, and celebrities. The Epstein case has raised serious questions about the moral compass of our world leaders. How could they associate with someone like Epstein, knowing what he was doing? Did they turn a blind eye to his crimes? If so, why did they stay silent? These are difficult questions that demand answers, especially given the significant power and influence that many of these individuals hold. There were many well-known individuals who associated with Jeffrey Epstein, some of whom have been implicated in his crimes. Here are some of the most notable names. Prince Andrew, the Duke of York and son of Queen Elizabeth II, has been accused by one of Epstein's alleged victims of having sex with her when she was underage. Prince Andrew has denied the allegations, but has faced criticism for his association with Epstein and his handling of the situation. Bill Clinton, the former U.S. president, had a close relationship with Epstein and flew on his private jet, known as the Lolita Express, several times. While Clinton has denied any knowledge of Epstein's crimes, some of Epstein's alleged victims have claimed to have seen him on the island where Epstein reportedly abused underage girls. Alan Dershowitz, the prominent lawyer and legal scholar, has been accused by one of Epstein's alleged victims of having sex with her when she was underage. Dershowitz has vehemently denied the allegations and has filed lawsuits against his accusers. Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's longtime associate and former girlfriend, has been charged with multiple counts of sex trafficking and perjury related to her alleged role in facilitating Epstein's abuse of underage girls. Maxwell has pleaded not guilty and is awaiting trial. It is important to note that association with Epstein does not necessarily imply guilt or involvement in his crimes, and that many of the individuals who knew him have condemned his actions and expressed regret for their association with him. But do not forget, he who walks with the wise will become wise, but the companion of fools will be destroyed. Proverbs 13:20. Today, we witness many events and policies being implemented. Are they designed to benefit society or just to satisfy a group of powerful people? The emergence of new customs, which often go against God's teachings, often leaves us wondering what is happening to the world. Could these be warning signs of the end of the world, or perhaps part of the Antichrist's plans? It is disheartening to observe the direction the world is taking, and when we consume the news, we are confronted with things that challenge our faith in humanity. In recent years, the figure of social influencers has become increasingly present in our lives. These people, who often reach millions of followers on their social media, are capable of influencing the opinion and behavior of their followers on various subjects. Many of these influencers end up being a concern for those of us who care about the next generation. This is because, in many cases, these influencers do not have the necessary knowledge about certain subjects, but still talk about them in a superficial or even erroneous way. The result of this is that many young people end up being influenced in a misguided way, following advice and behaviors that are unhealthy or do not align with reality. This can have serious consequences, such as health problems, financial problems, and even legal problems. And in the worst cases, many of these influencers have knowledge, but choose to sell their soul for money and buy narratives that favor certain people, leading young minds that are not prepared for a dark path. Massacres and wars can happen because of some influencers, and as the days go by, some suggest that some influencers may be the image of the Antichrist on earth. The Bible tells us to beware of false prophets and that we will know them by their fruits. It is a call for us to look beyond the outward appearances and rhetoric of those who claim to be spiritual leaders and examine the impact of their teachings on the world. Unfortunately, in recent years, we have seen the rise of individuals who masquerade as spiritual guides, but whose actions and teachings are far from the true path of enlightenment. Alongside the numerous social influencers who reach a substantial number of people, there is one figure that is known globally and has the potential to influence even more: the Dalai Lama. On the surface, the Dalai Lama presents himself as a wise and compassionate leader, preaching the values of nonviolence, love, and unity. However, his actions and teachings reveal a different story. For instance, the Dalai Lama has been accused of exploiting his position for personal gain, amassing a fortune through his religious activities. He has also been caught up in several controversies, including allegations of sexual misconduct and political corruption. Moreover, the Dalai Lama's teachings have been criticized for promoting a sense of spiritual superiority and elitism, with little regard for the plight of ordinary people. His brand of spirituality seems to be geared towards the privileged few, rather than the masses. In contrast, the teachings of the Bible emphasize the importance of humility, service to others, and love for all humanity, regardless of social status or background. The Bible calls on us to work towards the betterment of all people, not just a select few. In these turbulent times, it is more important than ever to be discerning in our search for true spiritual leaders. We must not be swayed by charismatic personalities or smooth-talking gurus, but rather look to the timeless wisdom of the Bible for guidance. Only then can we be assured that we are on the right path towards true enlightenment and salvation. Recently, the Dalai Lama was involved in a shocking incident where he asked an innocent boy to suck his tongue. Looking at these scenes, we lose faith in humanity and it causes us disgust, and rightly so. Through Twitter, Dalai Lama's team apologized for what happened, but these images have never left our minds and will haunt us until the end of time. Despite these things we see happening in the world, we cannot give up. We know that God has greater plans, and when the Great Tribulation comes, everything will be resolved. As Christians, we know that the world is not our home. We believe in the end times, when Jesus Christ will return and judge the living and the dead. The Bible tells us that in the end times, there will be wars and rumors of wars, famines and earthquakes, false prophets and false messiahs. The world will be in chaos, and many will fall away from the truth. But we can take comfort in knowing that God is in control. We can pray for our world leaders, that they may seek wisdom and righteousness. We can share the gospel with those around us, and be a light in the darkness. So let us keep our eyes fixed on Jesus, and trust in His promise that He will return and make all things new. Thank you for your support, and watch the video until the end. We look forward to sharing more insights from the Bible with you in the future. Feel free to leave a comment about the content and suggestions.